As lawmakers prepare for tomorrow's final confirmation vote, what's next for Judge Amy Coney Barrett, and what does her expected confirmation mean for the future of the country? To answer those questions and more, we welcome to News Nation Jonathan Adler, professor of law at Case Western Reserve University. Professor Adler, welcome.
Good to be here.
So the Senate advanced Judge Barrett's nomination today. That paves the way for a final confirmation vote. It's expected to happen tomorrow, but are there any more roadblocks the Democrats could possibly throw up before then, or is it just a done deal?
At this point, it should be a done deal. The key vote was today for what's called cloture. So that's the vote to end debate. And once the cloture vote passes, there are 30 more hours of debate and discussion before the final vote, and we don't expect there to be much change. In fact, one senator who voted against cloture, Senator Murkowski, because she thought that the vote should have been held after the election, has said she will nonetheless vote in favor of confirmation tomorrow. So procedurally, barring some very unexpected news story that no one's anticipating, she will be confirmed tomorrow evening.
Okay, so assuming she is confirmed, it will be 1 week before the presidential election. That she'll be on the court. That's a first in the history of this country. What happens if the results of the election are contested and the matter goes to the high court?
Well, she will probably be sworn in late tomorrow evening after the vote, or perhaps Tuesday morning. Once she is sworn in, she is eligible to hear whatever cases come before the court. If a election case comes before the court, it will probably be about the rules in a given state. It's not as if the election as a whole comes to the court. It will instead be, a challenge to a particular rule in a particular state, and she would participate in that along with the other justices.
So a big debate issue, as we've been covering for a while now, has been whether Joe Biden would pack the court if he won the election. Now that President Trump will have 3 picks on the Supreme Court, do you think that would be a possibility if he were to win?
Well, as a constitutional matter, Congress can enlarge the number of seats on the court. The Constitution specifies that there must be a Supreme Court, but it doesn't say how many seats there are on it. So as a constitutional matter, Congress could pass that legislation. And if Congress and the presidency are controlled by the same party, there's no constitutional barrier to that. That said, historically, the court has not been expanded for this sort of reason. Franklin Roosevelt proposed that during the New Deal, and even members of his own party thought that was a step too far. Historically, the reasons to expand the court have typically been because of an increase in the number of circuits. There used to be a tradition that each circuit had its own justice. In fact, there was a tradition that the justices had to come from all different parts of the country. And when that tradition was in place, it was rather common when a new circuit would be created, then a seat for a new justice would be added. But we've had 9 justices since the end of the Civil War, and it would be a pretty significant step were a Biden administration to push for that, although as a constitutional matter, that is something that Congress and the president could do together.
A lot to be watching for in the coming days. Professor Adler, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.